Welcome to the installation tutorial for Wiccle CMS Community Builder. To get started, you'll want to get to the right place, which is wiccle.com and the download page. We'll select the file from here and we'll save it into a folder of our choice. And we download and we open the containing folder, and that's our files. We unzip the file and here's what happened. And these are all the files you'll be needing for your iWiccle installation. Then open your favorite FTP program. Here we have FileZilla ready for our use. Go to wherever your files are. Here we have our iWiccle example folder. Just get all the files, drag and drop them, or choose them in whichever way you want, and start the upload. Here we go, your iWiccle is in the process of being uploaded. With the files are uploaded, we'll need to set the correct permissions. So we have the folders install, temp, and uploads, as well as the templates, but you can leave that for later when you want to start creating your own skins. There's no need to keep them constantly on write permissions. So we click write and write. Everything should be reading write in the center, including public. The files need to be public writable, and the numeric value, or chmod as we call it, chmod, is 777 or 0777, and this needs to be applied to all the directories that we have chosen and their subfolders, so you can actually properly upload images and other media to all the modules. But that's a fairly uncomplicated process, and this will be checked in the installer as well. The next thing we'll want to do while you're uploading your files is creating a database. Here we're showing it with cPanel, which is a fairly common hosting solution for managing your domain and all the associated resources. We're selecting a MySQL database. We'll create a new database, and whatever you call it, you'd better copy the information somewhere for reference, because you're going to be needing it in a second in the installation. Just the database isn't enough. We also need a user and a password. Let's make a password. Something just slightly cryptic, so we'll have the bulk of hackers staying away from our database. We create the user and we make sure our database username and password are safe. Then what we need to do is we'll take our user and we'll take our database and we'll add the user to the database and give him all privileges so he can actually do something about the database. And that's it with the database creation. Now you're ready to go to your actual installation process. So with all the preparations done, we're ready to get into business. We'll just go into the domain or the folder where we're installing our iWiccle, and we'll land straight to the installer page. You'll want to read through the license, copyrights, etc., and then click I agree in case you agree, and if you don't, you shouldn't be using this. Anyway, phase 1 of 5 is complete with this. Phase 2 of 5 we've already taken care of, because the folders have been made writable and we're set for phase 3 of 5 of our installer. Server username, password, and database. For the server, localhost is correct for 99% of the users, and those who use a separate database server should enter the IP address in there. Database name as we set, username as we've set, and the password as we've set before, and we'll test the connection. The connection works, our configuration file has been written, so we're good to go to phase 4 or 5. Phase 4 or 5, we've successfully created our iWiccle database, and we have a couple of little configurations to type in. Site is called my iWiccle. The base URL or the base address with the trailing slash seems to have been correctly detected, as well as the path to the server through the iWiccle installation. This is the admin username you'll want to type in. We'll just call it admin. Display name is admin. User identifier is something that we use in the URLs or in the addresses when we want to, for example, get to your profile, so you just type the same in lowercase letters. Password, we'll just call it whatever, because we're going to change and scrap the installation once the demo is done, because you all see the URL and all the admin codes. That's my email if you have problems with the installation. We save the admin account, and we're almost there. Now this is something you'll have to get back to the FTP with. You have to move the install config file to the root folder and remove the install directory, and then we're all set to go. So let's do that. Here's our, change the folder, here's IW example. Config, we move it to the right about here. We have our configuration file in place, and the installation directory we can just delete. Or if you do rename it to something no one will guess, because that's a way to completely reset your installation. That's it. Click here to log into your new iWiccle installation, which is loading. And seems to be working just fine. If only I could remember my admin password, I could actually log in, but so far so good. Your iWiccle is up and running, and the next thing you'll need to do is get your members on board and start populating it with content. Thank you, and if you have any problems with the installation, please check in Wiccle Fusion in our forums and post here, and we'll take care.